Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle Moreus and I make art tutorials that are fun, easy, and accessible for everyone. Before we get into the video, please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below I subscribed and I'll be sure to get back to each and every one of you. Today we're going to be doing these macarons in copic marker or ohuhu markers and polychromos colored pencils. This is a fun and easy way to speed up your color pencil drawings by mixing mediums, in this case the alcohol marker with the colored pencils. So you're going to put down your base layer with your lightest colors of marker, and I suggest swatching those markers out before you go to the paper because the color on the barrel of the marker is not indicative of the color that actually comes out of the marker. So I would swatch all those out and make a little map and have those next to you, the colors that you want to use. So it's really important to pick your lightest tones of the color that you want to have in your drawing, and the reason for this is you can't really lighten up the alcohol markers. You can with the color pencil, but so you want to use the lightest tones, and this way when you go over with the color pencils you're just going to enrich all those colors and make everything pop. But you'll see how quickly things come together when you put that base of alcohol marker down. So now I'm going to go in with my lightest tones of the polychromos, and I'm going to put my base layers down on my macaron, and we're just going to get a nice light coat down and give us something to build and blend off of. So we're going to add in each color for each of those little cookies and keep going and blending and light layers. So as you go along, I'm going to gradually get a little bit darker and darker on each of those different colors that I'm using, and just keep going. And I want to make sure that I get those shadows in between the cookies nice and dark. But we're going to build that up slowly and gradually. Color pencil works best when it's done in light layers, and you don't want to put too much pressure on the pencil. You don't want to scar the paper, and you don't want to ruin the tooth so that you can't put further layers on top of that. So it doesn't really matter if you don't have the perfect color that is in your reference image, so you just improvise. So I used the colors that were closest to my reference image and I just went with it. So if you had like a lighter green color for the bottom macaron, you could use that. I didn't have a kind of gray green, so I just went with a brighter color, and I kind of like the way it looks because everything is so bright and cheery. So we're just going to go along, and I'm adding in some white, and the white is kind of blending the underlying layers together, and little by little we're just going to darken and keep going and darken those shadows and darken everything up. And then we're going to get into our details in the middle part where all those little air holes in the cookie are. So the beauty of doing an underpainting in the alcohol markers is the color pencil glides over it so beautifully. It's really easy to work with both of these mediums together, and I really enjoy it. It just leaves a nice underlying layer to work from, and it builds everything up a lot quicker than if I had done the whole thing in the color pencil. So you should give it a try and mixing some mediums. You could also do a underpainting of watercolor, but don't be afraid to mix things up a little bit. I just like the copic markers so much. They glide on so nicely, and you can use solvent with them and it doesn't ruin what the base layer that you've put down, and the color pencil just goes over so nicely. And you'll see I'm going to go in and I'm going to add more marker to it as well to brighten up and darken up all of those colors. Now you can use your Prismacolors or any other color pencils that you have. I believe everything will work the same way with that alcohol marker undertone, and I have used Prismas with that and it works just as well. The polychromos are an oil-based pencil, and I just love the way that they blend together and you don't get a wax bloom the way you do with the Prismacolors. Prismacolors are very waxy, and you'll find that even after your drawing is done, you get kind of like a white film on your drawing, and that's called wax bloom, and you don't get that with the polychromos pencils. So I'm going in with a little bit of solvent on just a Q-tip, and I'm just kind of mushing those colors together and kind of melting those layers together. And you'll see that it does not bother the underpainting of the Copic marker at all. So it's really nice to be able to use that, and you see everything just smooths out. It fills in the tooth of the paper. You don't have any of those white parts of the paper showing or the graininess of the pencil. Now you can do it without the solvent, but I prefer to use the solvent. It just kind of makes it a little bit more painterly and makes it a little smoother. Now when you are using solvent, you want to use it in a well ventilated area, and I like to put a little bit of solvent in a small jar that I'm just using for this project. The solvent can get muddied up from the different colors that you're using, and you don't want to just dip into your large jar of solvent. So I have a little jar, and as soon as I'm done using it, I put the cap back on, and I am using it in a well ventilated area. So just be cautious with that. So now I'm going in and I'm kind of working on those little crannies, the nooks and crannies in those cookies. I'm using an electric eraser here, and I'm just picking out a few little highlights with that electric eraser. It will not pull up the Copic marker, but it will pull up a little bit of the colored pencil. Now I'm going back in with my Copic markers, and I'm just adding that darker layer, and it goes right over the colored pencil, and you have no problem. You do see a little shine on the top, but that's just my lighting. On the actual drawing, it's not shiny like that. But you can go over and just darken everything up, and it really gives a dramatic effect and adds those deep tones in there. And then we're going to go back with the color pencil, and we're going to go back with our white, and we're going to go back with our highlights. So we're just building up very slowly. There's no real right or wrong way to do this. I just look at my reference image and I kind of represent what I see. You don't have to do it verbatim, you know, exactly the little nooks and crannies that are in there. You just kind of get a feel for the patterns that it makes, and they repeat themselves on each of the different cookies. So you just want to get a good representation of what those marks look like, and then just, you know, do it a little differently on each of those cookies. So I think the main thing to remember is you want to have at least 3 colors in those shadowy areas. So you want to have your light tone, you want to have your deepest tone for where it's the deepest part of the cranny, and then you want to have your midtones. So this creates a more 3D effect, and it will help, you know, look more realistic as you go along. I'm going in with some white here, and I'm just brightening up some of those areas where my light is coming through. And we're going in with our midtone here, and I'm going back over with the marker, and then I'll go back over with the white color pencil, and then we're going to pick out some highlights with the Jelly Roll pen. If you're enjoying the content today, Please smash that like button. YouTube loves it when we get interaction with our patrons, and I love it too. If you'd like to leave a comment, I do get back to each and every one of you, and I enjoy hearing from you guys. It makes my journey a lot nicer to know that I have some interaction with you guys, since we don't get to speak live. So please leave me a comment, and I have met some really cool people on here who I do keep in touch with, and it's really fun to hear about your YouTube journey. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to join me in a live tutorial. We can do a live broadcast as I'm doing a drawing, and you can interact with me on that live. So let me know if you'd like to see something like that. I think that we will do that down the road a little bit, but I want to know your feedback and see if that's something you guys would want to draw along with me as we're going. So now we're just assessing where we need to darken up our shadows, or where we need to clean up a little bit of a line here or there. At this stage, you want to erase any stray pencil lines you might have, darken up your shadows, and just clean things up a bit. I have a lot of fun projects planned upcoming, so please stay tuned and draw along with me. I try to keep it fun and fresh. I try to have a little bit of pop art, a little bit of animal art, and we're going to do some portraits. We're doing some pastels, a little bit of mixed media. So let me know what you guys want to see. But I'm trying to keep it fun and fresh for you, and exciting, and also easy for the beginners to the intermediate artists. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm enjoying my journey in YouTube, and hopefully my channel will grow and grow, and right along with you guys, and I'm so happy to be here. So thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you on Thursday. I put out new content every Thursday. So thanks so much, and happy art.